Welcome, everyone, to another intriguing episode of The Angriest Man in Orlando. Uh, we'll give it a minute or two just to let everyone who wants to watch live join in, get their notifications, and then we'll go from there. All right. Audio sounds good. Da, 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 da. All right. How's everyone doing tonight? Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone can get to where they need to be tonight. Hope everyone finds what they're looking for. And I hope you enjoy the show. So, we usually give it the first 2 minutes to let people join in who want to come in live on this. If you're watching on playback, you can usually just skip to the 2 minute mark. And then right around there, we start the show and get into stuff. So, yeah, we go from there. So, it's just idle chit chat for the first 2 minutes. May get some type of song or something for this point, but nothing's really hit me that really expresses the anger. So that's why I just sort of talk, just to get into it. It's the calm before the storm, it's the build up to the big moment. So that's where it comes in. That's where it comes in. Okay. Welcome once again. It is 6 o'clock over in Ogden, Oregon. How are you doing tonight? Hello to who's in the Mountain Time Zone? Tucson, Arizona? Are you in Mountain Time Zone? I believe you are. Welcome to you. In the Central Time Zone. Hello, Kansas City. How are you doing? And on the East Coast, welcome, Bangor, Maine. How's everyone doing tonight? All right, so let's get into it. Since we've had a lot of new viewers over the last couple weeks, people checking out the show, I felt it was a good time to kind of reintroduce myself and why I am called the angriest man in Orlando. People always wonder, is he really that angry? What's the deal? What's the point? All right. So, the point of this show is to have you join the discussion. Come on in comments, join the discussion, and talk about what makes you angry. It's sort of a extended psychiatric visit to all of America and anyone who's watching internationally. I'm not sure who because the timing is a little weird. I believe it's like 2 a.m. in England, and it might be like 9 in the morning in Australia and China. So, not sure if anyone's watching there. But you join in and you tell me what you're angry about so we can be angry about it together. So, I'll kick it off. What makes me the angriest man in Orlando? Okay, here's the story. So yesterday, I'm driving into Target as I shop there regularly. I like their prices and stuff. Yeah, there's been some controversy there, and I'm on and off about them, but generally they're pretty good. So they have a main lane that goes into the plaza, and then you have your side lanes that go down to the parking spots. So, most normal people here in America know you drive on the right side of the road. I know there are other places where you can drive on the left side of the road, but in America, you drive on the right side of the road. So, tell me, this idiot, I'm going to say soccer mom because I'm pretty sure either that or Karen, one of the two, driving her SUV through the middle of the road, not realizing, hey, somebody could pull down to want to go park to go into the store. So, me seeing that that was the lane I wanted to go down because I wanted to park where I was going to park for the specific reason that nobody parks near me when I park there. This idiot proceeds to keep going in the middle of the road up to the point where I take my right turn to go down that part of the road. So I get up and I think, I got a fast car. I think I could beat her. So I take the right. She slams on her brakes, in which case I just kind of pulled up to the side of her. And she gives me this look like F off. And I basically had my window down anyway. Shouted, "It helps if you're not on the middle of the freaking road." Yeah. I think I got the message to her because she did not roll her window down. She did not try to argue with me about how she wasn't or was or what the deal was. She simply proceeded down, got on the right side of the road, and took her right to leave. So I think I got my point across enough. And you're saying, well, why would you do that? Like, why would you yell? Well, but you know what? When people do stupid stuff, like travel in the middle of a road where people could be going left and right in, I think you need to call that stuff out. Okay. There are idiots out here who are not paying attention to this stuff. And they're going to continue to not pay attention unless they get called out. So you got to call this stuff out. So I was able, nobody crashed, nobody got injured, but a point was made. And that's why I have to be the angriest man in Orlando to put these points out there so that people can understand there's a way of doing stuff. If she had been on the right side of the road, which it turned out when I was leaving, I got onto the right side of the road, got up to that same point, and somebody was able to make the turn down the lane because I was on the right side of the road. Now, I don't have a small car, but I don't have a big car either. It's a sports car. And they were able to easily make the turn with me being on the correct side of the road. So, people, pay attention, get off your freaking phones, and figure out what side of the road you should be on. Okay? Otherwise, if you encounter me, you're going to get yelled at because I really don't care anymore. I've lost the ability to care, and this goes to the abilities of human beings. Okay? When the COVID pandemic hit, humans, or most humans, figured out they didn't need to think anymore and they should just follow instructions of the government and just do whatever they say and no longer think anymore. They don't use common sense, they don't use critical thinking, and they don't understand stuff anymore. So it's become a pandemic of its own. So when I see that shit, I'm going to call it out. I don't care. If you want to fight me for it, fight me for it. I don't give a damn. In case you can't tell, I don't have a lot going on for me in the real world out there. I got this show. It helps me. Hoping it's helping you. But until I become some mega star, which even then I think I'd still be yelling at people. So TMZ, get your cameras ready. I will still be yelling at people when they do stupid crap. Because you need to pay attention. The reason things get as fucked up as they are right now is because no one was paying attention before. Nobody was paying attention. You let your hands off the wheel, and now you're careening towards the ditch. And you can either pull out. Yeah, that's a joke there. Pull out, get out of the way, get back onto the road, or you could just go careening into the ditch. So if somebody yells at you, hey, we're going off the road, you're going to get back onto the road, right? You're going to turn, you're going to come back, and everything's going to be okay. So somebody's got to be that person that yells. And I've elected myself, named through several of my friends, to be the angriest man in Orlando, to yell at the people so they get back onto the right side of the road. Okay? So, is it a terrible thing to be this person? No, it's not. It's what you get put into in life. Everyone has a job. You get put into stuff. Do I always like being it? Well, do people really like being angry all the time? No. But when situations present themselves, I have to be that person. It's, I guess, something like the Hulk. When the Hulk has to be the Hulk, then he's got to be the Hulk. If you got to be Bruce Banner, then you're Bruce Banner. You know, it's something that does come in handy. A lot of people like it because when situations start to get hairy, I'm able to wrangle them back in by being the guy who steps up and says something. There too many times I can even start to discuss. I'll have to write a book with all the situations, but there's been situations where things got out of hand, and I had to step up and say, "Hey, we're not doing this. We're gonna go back into the normal, and everything's gonna fly straight." So I know a good friend of mine wonders, why are you always the angriest man? And it helps. It helps. And sometimes people like that. People want someone there who can handle the situation, who can take things in, and they don't have to deal with it. They can step back. They can be relaxed. So that's a little introduction of why I am the angriest man in Orlando. And once again, I've asked if anyone thinks they could be angrier than me. Please, I invite you to come on to the show. I will send you the link. You can join me from your house, your condo, your hotel room, wherever you are. And we'll discuss. We'll compare. We'll see who can be angrier. But I've got a lot of years of angry on me. So I think I'm pretty good in that arena. So thank you to everyone who is watching, who wants to get involved, who wants to see what this is all about. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. And then if you want to hear more rants and all that, join my Twitter channel, The Angriest Man in Orlando, and you can go from there. All right. So usually do some topics each night, and there's a little bit going on where everything kind of intersects everything. So we're going to kind of just mix it all together, politics, economy, and then we'll do a little dating on the side, and we can go from there. So let's get into it. In other angry news, let's see. North Korea blows up parts of inter-Korean road and rail links in a symbolic display of anger. So, in a symbolic display of anger, North Korea on Tuesday blew up northern sections of unused road and rail routes that once linked it with South Korea, with the rivals exchanging threats days after the North claimed that the South flew drones over its capital, Pyongyang. The choreographed demolition underlines North Korea's growing anger against South Korea's conservative government. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has vowed to sever relations with South Korea and abandon the goal of achieving peaceful Korean unification. Okay, so there was a bit of anger with that one too. So they blew up some roads, some bridges, and some rail routes, some railroad ways. In a response to the explosion, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said its military fired warning shots within southern sections of the border as it bolstered its readiness and surveillance posture. The statement did not give details, but the move could have been an attempt to avert cross border fire by North Korea. So it seems North Korea is angry. And well, I guess there's a situation brewing over there. As many have known, this has been going on for years. And where does it go from here? I don't know. It depends on what happens in 3 weeks. For anyone who doesn't know, in 3 weeks, there will be an election for the President of the United States of America. If it is to be Donald Trump, we have seen Donald Trump go over to Korea, speak with the South, speak with the North, and tensions seem to die down after that happens. If Kamala Harris is elected president, I can't really say what could happen, but my guess is they're not going to take her very seriously, and tensions could. I'm not going to say that word. Tensions could get severe, we'll say. There is definitely situations brewing around the world. You have China right now doing war demonstrations. They're saying war games, but demonstrations around the island of Taiwan. You have Iran and Israel fighting. You have the Ukraine and Russia fighting. And you have a lot of turmoil with leaders who don't know what's going on right now. So, this election that's happening in about 3 weeks, November 5th, is certainly one that a lot of people are watching right now. They it the polls are saying they're neck and neck right now. I looking at some of the polls, looking at some of the reaction from people, I'd say Trump is ahead by about 2 points. It's within the margin of error, so you can say it's neck and neck. But I would push more toward I think he's ahead by about 2 points or so. It's really going to come down to who's voting in this election. As I've said, I think a lot of people are sitting this one out. We had what 160 million people vote in the 2020 election. I say you'll probably see around 140 million or so vote in this election. And I just think that some people are just so disillusioned with both parties that they're not going to bother going out to vote. And I know, okay, mail-in voting has opened in quite a few states, including 2 today. Even that involves you filling out a form to get the ballot mailed to you, filling the ballot out, going in, either dropping it off or mailing it back. So there's a process to all of this. Like, you have to get involved in this to give your position on who you think the president should be. So to the ones who just sit back and are like, I don't like either party, why put in the effort to push for one of them or the other? So I think you're going to see a lot of people who are kind of stepping away from the process. They just don't want to deal with this one. They don't like either candidate. Third party candidates have not really pushed to be loud enough. And here's the simple fact. Can you name one? And RFK Jr. is no longer a third party candidate running. He has sided with the Trump party and is assisting with, I think, a lot of health stuff with them. So, who's a third party candidate right now? Can you even name a third party? I don't think a lot of people can. And so, if you're a third party, you've got to make a lot more noise, or you've got to have a candidate that's big enough to be able to make their own spotlight and be able to speak and do stuff. And no one has really hit that yet. So you've got 2 parties, you've got 2 people, and some some people in America just don't want either one of them, and I think for that purpose that they'll simply just not vote. I'm not saying it's going to be a majority, but you'll see some. You won't see the number. I really doubt you'll see the number that you saw in 2020. So based on who actually wants to go and vote in this stuff, um, I I believe Trump is ahead. Now, don't take that as my word to say that, oh, well, if he's ahead, I don't need to vote. You should still go vote if you can. Um, I know a lot of those counties in North Carolina, it's going to be really tough um, to be voting over there, but hopefully they can. Um, so for that fact, I think you should certainly go vote in fate in having the ability to be able to go and vote. So there's a lot of things going on around the world, a lot of politics going. Um, so, some people, have bigger things on their mind, but also some people ask the politicians, "What are you going to do about the economy?" It's the economy, stupid. And Lending Tree has a survey out. It says 76% of Americans say inflation and economy has made it more difficult to afford bills, and 45% have paid one late in the past year. So, more than 3 in 4 Americans say inflation and the economy are making it harder for them to afford their bills, according to a new Lending Tree survey. And 40% of Americans say they're less able to afford their monthly bills than a year ago. Key findings: about 3 in 4 say inflation in the current economy will make more difficult to afford their bills. 40% say they're less able to afford their monthly bills than a year ago, while just 23% say they're more able. 23% of people say they're able to pay their bills now than a year ago. Think about that. Almost half of Americans have paid a bill late in the past year. 45% have paid a bill late in the past 12 months. Or 29% doing so in the past 6 months. When asked which bills have been late, 44% said utilities, 34% said cable or internet, and 31% said rent or mortgage. So those will definitely have some large fees for paying late. Most late payers can't afford their bills. The most common reason for making a late payment is not having the money to afford it, while 28% mixed up the due date and 28% forgot about it. So more than half simply did not have the money to afford it. The other half just kind of didn't know what the fuck they were doing, basically. All right. Additionally, 48% of late payers admit they've paid 3 or more bills late in the past year, and 50% of Americans say they've overdrafted an account paying a bill. That's crazy. Some banks do have overdraft with savings, so you may not pay a fee for that. If they do, there are a lot of, I guess, paycheck loan deals. Try not to do those unless you know you can definitely pay the money back, or they give you an incredibly low interest rate to pay back, or no interest rate to pay back. I know there's one out there that does that, but investigate on your own and find the resource that you need. Some bills are prioritized more than others. More than half of respondents say rent or mortgage is the most important bill to pay on time, followed by utilities and credit cards. Similarly, 21% say their rent or mortgage is the hardest bill to afford, followed by utilities at 15%. Just about a fifth, 21% of Americans say none of their bills are difficult to afford. So there's 20% of America that is doing just fine. They're paying their bills on time. They have the money. They're doing okay. They're probably buying some extra stuff. So that is part of what's going on, where those people will probably say, everything's fine right now. Everything's going well. Let's keep it the way it's going. No worries there. But to the 76% of everybody else, it sucks right now. It really does suck. And you've got news coming out that True Value hardware that you used to see on every main street in every little town in America, they're filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy and they're getting sold to their competitor. That's not good. That is a hallmark name for towns to go get keys made, to go get a new lawnmower, to go get some power tools, to go get sockets that you needed, to go get sometimes lawn furniture that might have been cheaper than Home Depot or Lowe's. A lot of them were family owned. So the independently owned will still operate. They'll probably operate as, Rocky's hardware store or Jay's, tool bin, and they'll still get supplies through True Value with their new competitor owning them. But will the prices be the same? Or will prices have to go up? I mean, it's not looking good. Another big name, Walgreens, announced that they're going to be closing about 1,200 stores that were underperforming going into next year. Originally, it was 700. Now they've upped it up to about 1,200. And they're looking at selling off their clinic business, which a couple of years ago they were actually talking about investing billions into to try to do little, small medical thing at their clinics and their stores. So you've got Walgreens, shutting down stores, a lot of jobs lost with that. You got True Value going out of business. So you're going to see some jobs losses with that. So how do you have a job report that says 250,000 jobs are here, and yet in the same month have companies filing for bankruptcy and closing stores? Well, I went over it in the last show. I'll go over it again. A lot of these jobs were government jobs that are just sort of set up to make the job number look better. Some are needed. I know FEMA is hiring right now for the hurricane cleanup and helping out with getting people signed up for benefits and everything. So some of that is going to get put into either a revised job report or the next job report, possibly, because it was kind of in between on the quarter when the quarter ended. So they're playing a little bit with the numbers, because if you look at everything, I mean, there's jobs getting lost everywhere, but they're saying it's still good. What's going on? Another thing that's happening is when the Fed Reserve did their interest rate cut in September, a couple days later, they kind of let it out that, yeah, there were going to be more cuts in November and December, and then you would hopefully have a full point cut by the end of the year to make things better. Well, it hasn't made things better. Let's start with the real estate market. The 30-year rate is at about 6.6, 6.7%, and the 15-year mark is about 6.1%, which is actually higher than they were a couple months ago. So if you didn't buy a home before and you thought the rates would go down, the rates are actually going up. Yeah, not great. Also, there is now talk that if the jobs number still looks good, the unemployment rate stays the same or goes down a little, inflation doesn't go up, they might not do the cut in November that they were saying they were going to do. So how do you do a 50 basis point cut, which is about half a point, in September, making it look like everything was bad and we have to save it and we have to do this, to now what, 3 weeks later saying, it's not that bad. Jobs look good. The employment market is where we think it should be. And if we can, quote unquote, freeze it where it is right now, this is exactly where we want it to be. That's a little strange. That's a little strange. It's the equivalent of someone saying, "Oh my God, I think my wife is cheating on me. I think I'm going to have to get a divorce. I think we could just lose everything." So a couple of weeks later saying, "Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. We love each other. Everything's great. No problems here. In fact, we're probably gonna, buy a new home together or something. We're gonna go on another honeymoon or something because everything's great. Everything's awesome." In the span of 3 weeks, this is 3 weeks after they did the Fed rate cut in September. So I'm no economist. I like talking numbers, but the numbers don't lie. Something's going on here. Something's really screwy. And I think with 3 weeks to the election, they are trying to cook the books so bad that it looks like everything's just going smooth. It's a lovely ride, like you're in a Cadillac. No bumps at all. Everything's gonna be fine. And if they can get Harris to win, they will keep that train going down the tracks that everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's great. Now, it won't be. The cracks will still come. You'll still see everything. If Trump wins, they completely lose the facade. It's all curtains open. Everything is there. You will see it. The numbers will look drastically different. It will look like 2007 again. And you will see unemployment go up. You will see interest rates probably have to go back down to like 1% to save this whole thing. And you will see a lot of people losing homes, people losing cars, people losing jobs, people losing faith that they can even do anything or make anything right now. So it's if it looks and sounds ugly over the next couple months, don't worry. This is again looking like 2007. So what happened in 2007? Well, they did the same thing. They cut the interest rate by half a point. They said everything was going to be okay, employment was going to be fine, and it didn't work out well. Come January, they actually had to cut a whole point through an emergency cut and the regular meeting that they had. 2008 rolled in. Things started going quickly. You saw Bear Stearns go down. You saw Lehman Brothers go down. Big banks just had to post their losses, and some filed bankruptcy and close, some having their stock price go to zero. And it could happen again. Sad to say. But here's the kicker. You're hearing it from me. If it happens, you're prepared. Prepare for it. How do I prepare for it? Well, here's the thing. Don't go make any big purchases. Like I said, if about a month ago, 2 months ago, if you saw a good deal, buy it, get it now. Okay. That time's over. So looking now, home interest rates are going up. Don't go buy a home. Car prices are still going down, but there are some dealers who believe that they still hold gold. Don't deal with those dealers. Again, if you get a really good price on something with an affordable interest rate, something you can afford, then you could buy it now or you can wait. It will be a lot less later on. Again, this does look like the same cycle that we saw in 07 and 08. They say history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. Again, you'll see over the next coming months whether I'm right or not. And again, I don't want to be right, but god damn it, I seem to be. With a lot of these things that just seem to keep falling like dominoes going down the road to where we were exactly there seeing a collapse. Whose fault is it? It's a little bit of everybody, you know. But you're basically told that everything was going fine, so everyone kept spending money even though they didn't have it, and everything wasn't fine. So you can blame the politicians, you can blame the bankers, you can blame the mail for giving you that extra credit card that you didn't need, but it's the cycle that it goes through. So we just have to be prepared for it. And I think one of the ways you can be prepared is just listening. Just listen. I listen to the people who know, and I deliver the advice to you. These are I'm not, reading a crystal ball or anything. I'm actually listening to the people who know. So take the advice, do with it what you will. Just don't be angry later on, because I'm gonna still be angry. They screwed it up. They screwed all this crap up. They don't know what they're doing. They really don't. Don't ever think that because they're a head of a bank or they run a major political party or anything that they know what they're doing. All these idiots are just human beings like you and me. Some are really stupid and some are somewhat smart. You have to kind of figure out who is what. And so that's economics and political stuff all wrapped up. We talked about the Stellantis thing last week. It's still in a death spiral. To the guys who love Dodges, Chryslers, and all that stuff, I feel for you guys. I wish I had better news, but if you don't love your vehicle, unload your vehicle, because it's never going to be worth what you think it's going to be worth. Unless it's an old classic car. And they're just running that thing into the ground. So don't be in a spot where you're trying to find service later on, parts, maintenance. Another company that happened to, and I saw a couple here in Orlando, was the Fisker company, an EV company. They had the Fisker Ocean SUV. I saw a few of those around here. Yeah, they're now defunct. In fact, they left their headquarters in such a mess that the landlord is now suing them for repairs and for the stuff that's in there to get it out for a cleanup. So yeah, not too great if it in the business world right now with things that are going on. Okay, so we'll hit our last topic and then we'll go from there. So dating in the modern world, where are we at? I'm gonna drop the video. I am having it edited out about how the dating apps are basically a game and why they're a game and who made it that way. And so that's gonna get it edited out and that'll get dropped as soon as I can. But it's now that time of year where Thanksgiving parties and Christmas parties and other holiday parties are being thrown. I would say if you have a little extra, hopefully you can, get yourself spruced up. Go take a spa day. Go get a haircut. Go just clean up a little bit, As you can see, shaved up today. looking a little bit better. It's that time of year to socialize, there'll be trick-or-treating going on in a couple of weeks. You can get out into the neighborhood, meet some of your neighbors. Maybe you meet someone there. Thanksgiving, families. Sometimes people bring friends to these type of events who are lonely. Another good way to meet someone. And then company Christmas parties. Again, you know, sometimes you have friends who bring friends. Last year there were a couple interns who actually brought friends in who were not associated with the company. So it's a way that you can socialize and meet people. And maybe the person you talk to right there is not the person for you, but maybe they know somebody who might be the person for you. So people know people. So always, clean yourself up, go into the holidays with a positive feel. A motto I hear is the future looks bright. So let's roll with that. In January, when you're sitting there cramming, old Christmas cookies in you, then you can be angry about what the hell happened and why didn't it go your way. But gonna try to stay positive with this and say there's a possibility you can meet someone over the holidays. It's not impossible. They made some freaking Hallmark movies for it and shit. So, there's always that. But it's a possibility. Keep it open. Again, a lot of supermarkets will be hiring seasonal people. So when you're shopping, feel free to talk to your cashier, talk to your bagger. You might strike up a conversation that leads to something. A lot of holiday stores will have extra people in there. Try to stay friendly with some of them. Again, you never know. There's going to be a lot more people out there you're going to run into in the normal process of you doing everything. So you'll see more people, which leads to a higher number and a higher statistic that you might actually meet someone. So don't let the holiday blues get you down. It sucks sometimes, but there are a lot more possibilities now. So get up, get off your ass, get cleaned up, and get out there. Go meet some people. I really don't think Tinder or what are the other ones? Hinge or Match or Bumble. That's not going to be the way to do it this holiday season, because even the people that are going to get on there are going to be so desperate and lonely that you're probably not going to want to talk to them anyway. So get out, enjoy it. Hopefully it's mild weather where you are. I know it is getting cold in the north, but just get out there, go to some parties, experience some stuff, try some new things, and see what happens. Be open to stuff. Be open to it. So hopefully you start the new year with somebody new. It's always nice to get that New Year's kiss, and you go from there. All right. So I think we had a great show. I'm not going to bore you to death. Try not to do these too long. That way you can just pop it on if you're doing dishes or cooking or whatever. I don't do special pictures or anything. You don't need to watch the podcast. Just listen. Just grab the advice I give you and go with it. And join me next Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time. And we'll go through another show of What Are We Angry About? So thank you to everyone who has gone back and watched the shows and has talked to me about stuff. You guys are building a community. I think it's great. I think we can do a lot with it. So let's keep it going. Tell your friends, tell your family. And let's just keep moving with that. All right. So check me out next Tuesday. I do a show on Thursdays called Two Men in a Room. It's on the Two Men in a Room channel. It's a little more fun, a little more energetic. And my partner's on that one. He's a good pal. And we just talk about things with our own experiences and a lot of fun. So check that out. Two Men in a Room, Thursday night, 8 o'clock. And I'll see everyone next Tuesday at 9. And as always, stay angry.